system. In this video, I'm going to go over the triple step system I use to make sure you know what your Amazon profits are before you launch your product. So step one, if you have Helium 10, if you have Jungle Scout, if you have any Amazon software, they have a profitability calculator. So if you have a profitability calculator, and right here, these are the three big other fees to become a master of profitability on Amazon, but these are the big three you should start with. So the first one is the FBA fee. This is a cost for Amazon to store the product, to ship. So that's why this tool, you see it pulls the weight, width, length, and height, and the weight of the product. And then it says what the size tier is. So based on that, Amazon, but on Amazon especially. The second fee is the storage fee. So this is charged per cubic foot, and they have a fee for January to September and a fee for October to December. And the reason why they have two different fees is because during peak season, Amazon increases their storage rates. That's because during peak Q4, everyone wants to sell as much as they can. And to prevent a bunch of junk getting into their warehouse, they raise the storage fee so people are more conscious about what they're actually sending in. But yeah, October to December, it does increase, but for a majority of the year, you can plan on using that number. And then third, there's the referral fee. So the referral fee is just the cost of doing business on Amazon. It's you're using their platform, and just because you're on their platform, they're going to take a percentage of your sale. So typically it's 15% of your sale price. There are some categories where it's lower than 15%. That's why it says to select a category here, but we have a $585 referral fee. So those are the three big ones. You'll notice here that it also says what the unit manufacturing cost is at $780. If you hover on this, I think it should say, yeah, the default is just 20% of the list price. So the tool doesn't actually know what the cost is to source the product. It just assumes 20%. And if you're in a category like skincare or supplements, it's probably less than 20%. The markup is usually higher. So yeah, 780, probably not accurate. If you go on Alibaba or you've done some other sourcing, you can use that as a more accurate number here. Freight costs, per cubic meter, they give an estimate of what that will be. And of course, they don't include ads, and they don't include the duties and tariff cost here. So that's on you. Usually I'll assume at least 20% for ads. And then I want my net ROI per unit to be above 120%, because I know when I add in other fees, then it could still stay of 100%. So if you're looking at this product to screen it, I would come up with the profitability calculator. I'd put 20% here. I double check that the product specs look okay, because sometimes they look a little funky and you got to double check it, and then just see what the ROI per unit is with that 20% ad spend assumption. Now, like I said, there are other fees, and there is a better way to estimate what your actual ad cost will be, which I'm going to get to in 1 second. But if you don't have Helium 10 or any software, the second way to do this is to just type in Amazon. It'll usually be the first result here. The price. But if you have an existing product like this product here, and you want to know, hey, what are the fees on this, because you're confused, you can come down, you can grab this ASIN. Instead of defining a product, I'm just going to use an existing product, because the result is going to be the same here. And it gives you the same thing: the referral fee, the fulfillment cost, the storage cost. But Amazon adds an inbound cost here. This is the cost if you want to send all of your units to one fulfillment center. Amazon's going to charge you a fee for that convenience. But if you say Amazon optimize split shipments and you send a shipment to 4+ fulfillment centers, they're going to not charge you for that. So often if you have LTL shipments and you're shipping pallets, optimized split shipments is a no-brainer. If you're sending your product to 4+ locations and it's just cartons, SPD delivery, that could be very expensive to send one carton here, one carton there, especially if one's in California, one's in the Midwest, one's in the South. So If you only have a couple cartons, then maybe just doing the minimal split shipment and doing the FBA fee on that is worth it. One pro tip, if you can fit a lot of units in a carton, like 15, 20, 150, then it's worth it to go through Amazon AWD, which is their 3PL. They have their own fee structure. I'm not going to go over here, but often when you use AWD, you don't have to pay the inbound placement fee. So it's a way to bypass it. And Amazon's incentivizing people to use it because they want to take more of the 3PL market. But if you can fit a lot of units in a carton, it's worth it to go through AWD just to avoid the inbound placement fee. The second bonus of that is during Q4, you can drip feed to Amazon from AWD so you don't have to keep everything at high storage fees in Q4. Okay, now the third option is using this Google template that I've created. This will incorporate what your ad spend will be, which is the biggest variable expense of selling at Amazon. How much do you need to spend on ads in order to sell your product, which varies by category and what you price your product at. I have another video where I talk about how to price your product to succeed on Amazon, but for here, we're just going to use the example that we've had. So let's say for this product, it's $39. So I'm just going to start filling in everything in yellow here. Everything else is a formula. And we want to know what the conversion rate is. So this is where having keyword tools really helps. So I'll come down and I'll look at the keywords in Cerebro for that product. I'm getting the most traffic, and then I'm going to sort that by search volume. Cleansing balm looks like their main keyword, and the CPC for that is 106 to 225, estimated 159. And just scanning the top 10 keywords, it's about 140 to 159, 170, 159. So we're going to use that as an estimate for the cost per click here, 159. We assume 70% of your sales will come from ads when you launch a new product on Amazon. That's just based on experience. That's a good assumption to have. Then the conversion rate. So Cerebro we use for two things to get the CPC, but then we found this is the main keyword, and I'll use another tool called Keyword Hunter Pro by Solarize, and I'll type in cleansing balm, and I'll search that. And this is going to show me what the conversion rate is. So it says 24%, and then it shows me related keywords, 25 to 30%. So 24% looks like a great assumption for conversion rate. And now I can start to see what my tacos will be, which is what percent of my sale will go towards ads. So I should plan 11.89% of revenue going towards ads during launch, and what my ACOS will be, what my cost per conversion will be, clicks per conversion. So we filled all that in, the product price, and now let's fill in the FBA fee, which we've taken $585, and then the referral fee. Fulfillment cost $395, $585 referral fee. And then the costs for the product, let's say it's $5. I don't know what it is. It said $7. I think it's probably a bit less. Right. And now in this calculator, I've included coupon fees, coupon discounts, a refund rate, which I assume is 3%, the tacos, which is based on the conversion rate and the CPC and the percent of ad sales. So Amazon adds their cost per click. You pay for every click that you get. So in order to know what your estimated cost will be, you need to know your conversion rate, how many clicks you expect you need to get a sale, and then what the cost per click is going to be. Cerebro and Solarize are both tools that help you get that data. Now you can see this is more specific than Helium 10 or Amazon's revenue calculator because we've considered what are coupons, what's the will it actually be. There are still some other fees you need to consider to become an Amazon profit master. And that is, we talked about earlier, if you're not doing optimized split shipments to 4+ locations, you need to take this one into account. But this is what I do, I don't want to hassle with placement fees. They are very expensive and they hurt margins a lot, but I prefer to put everything through AWD. AWD hard coded what the formula is here. You could look it up, but it's charged per carton. And then for the transport to Amazon, it's a flat rate per cubic feet. So $2.80 per carton, and then I think $1.40 per cubic foot. So I have what are the master cartons that I'm going to be shipping, and then that determines what the what the AW cost will be per unit. These should all be familiar: the FBA fee, the referral fee, 3P cost. There's no 3P because I'm using AWD instead. What the PPC cost will be, I say assume 20% if you don't know at all. But because we have this ad spend planner, you can put in exactly what you expect the tacos will be for your product. And then, of course, returns. And yeah, then we can see the selling price here. So including the AWD inbound placement fee part, and just making sure you're including your duties. If you're doing a quality inspection, this isn't just Amazon profit. This is all contribution margin for your product. But that's the 3-step, triple step system I use. I'll look at Helium profit calculator. I'll look at Amazon's revenue calculator, but ultimately I'll use this template to know what the expected profit margin will be. The selling price is super important on Amazon. If you have way too high of a price, your sales velocity is going to be way below what you expect it to be. I have another video where I explain what's too high, like what the price should be. But for here, I'm just going to leave it where it is for how to calculate your Amazon profit.